How's it going, guys? And welcome to a very special Achievement Diaries Q&A. Today we're joined with mods Matt K.
Hello.
Ghost.
Hey.
John C.
What's up?
Reach.
Go.
And myself, Mod Archie. Let's just say this right away. Unfortunately, Mod Ash is busy upstairs working with the Achievement Diaries stuff, so he will not be attending this week, but he'll be back next week. That being said, let's get into this, all right?
So that's the first thing they ask. Where's Ash?
Just like, wait a minute, don't start.
Yeah, he kindly volunteered to stay upstairs and keep an eye on things for us.
Yeah. I would have joined him, but I think obviously with half the questions being about Achievement Diaries, I'm probably best placed to answer them.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the first question here from Film Geek RS, and he asks, "Can we have the ability to sell bounty hunter emblems in the Grand Exchange?"
I think the reason we left them off is because the Grand Exchange has things to note things, and you're not supposed to be able to note emblems for various technical reasons. We could probably work around it, but it'll take us some time.
And only the very first emblem is actually tradable in the first place anyway. All the preceding emblems are not tradable.
Okay.
We'll look into it, but it's not going to be something that's a simple config change. It will take us a nice workaround to work on.
There you go. We've almost got the chat back. Next question. This one's from Warty, and he asks, "So which Achievement Diaries were the most difficult to create?"
Western.
Mauretania by a long shot.
Some mixed feedback here.
I'd say the Western, just there were so many variables that I had to dig out.
They were very, from the point of view of creating, which was my side of the table, Mauretania.
I had to plug in that Ghost Speak amulet into everything.
Oh,
so for somebody who might not know how to dev.
It's not so much that, it's more Mauretania is a very, very old piece of content. For the most part, everything in Mauretania is at least 7 years old, dating back to even 2002, 2003. It's very old. And some of the developers had mixed opinions on how certain things in Mauretania should be done. So with that mixed feedback and mixed opinions on how things should be done, everything's a little bit different. Even things that are made by the same developer, they've been touched up by other developers. So you've got their separate ways of doing things in the file. That was just something that was not specific to Jagex. That was just three people disagreeing on the way something should be done. It's a very old sort of system they've got going on there. And trying to track down where something should be in three systems, or in one system done differently by three different people, is quite difficult. Especially when it was very messy back in the day. There was no real file structuring back then, and it hasn't really been amended or cleaned up since then. So trying to find anything in Mauretania, all around Mauretania, was a nightmare. That's why it was hard for me. Western Diary, obviously there's an awful lot of variables like tracking what you should have, what you should, be doing at a certain time, where you should be if you're in the right place at the right time. That was in our way an awful lot.
It's such a large one as well, across such a large area.
Yes, obviously, because we've also got the Apatow Islands, which were very messy.
Apatow, Pest Control, all of the elf
lands, which was messy.
Gnome stuff, Piscatoris.
Gnome was relatively easy, thankfully, and so was Piscatoris. It was everything else that was an absolute ball ache for us.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah, go on then.
Remember when we sat in that meeting back in...
September.
Was it September? September. We all sat in a meeting room out in a hotel, and I came up with this nice, pretty map of what the Achievement Diaries would probably look like.
I'd hit you now.
And everybody was really quite excited at the time. So yes, 10 Achievement Diaries, that's brilliant, we can do that, that'll be really quite cool. How do you feel about it now? What do you wish you'd said in that meeting?
I wish one of us had questioned why no one had ever done more than one at once.
Going on, and can we predict exactly when I'm going to say it? I'm
guessing
do that from Simon right now. Okay. Well, if there were live bleeps,
go ahead. I'll do it.
One long beep is all we need.
Yeah, but that's what I'd say now.
So, in summary, Mauretania was your favorite. It was a struggle, but you really enjoyed it, and you're happy to see how it's turned out.
Oh, that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
I'd have liked another 6 months.
My favourite die was actually probably the Western. I really liked the idea of the Western, which is why it's probably my favourite, because obviously it's not really an area. It's just everything that was miscellaneous. Really.
Exactly, it just ties in everything that's really nicely, doesn't it?
I'd say it was my favourite as well, because there's in those areas there's a lot of content that you'd never really go near, and we've really sort of injected some life into that. Some of the rewards are really awesome as well. That chompy pet is so cute.
Oh yes,
looking forward to seeing someone get that for the first time. All right, let's go on to the next question. Again from Warty, and he asks, can we have the ability to price check all of the items in our bank at once?
I've spoken to Ash about that. It's something we'd like to do, but it's not a small job, so it's unlikely to happen anytime soon, and we'll likely poll it before we do it anyway.
I could see the chat really wanting that feature.
Yes.
Actually, I would really like that. Alrighty then, next question. This one's from Salads Mix, and he asks, will Zaya have its own diaries? And any ideas what the rewards might offer.
Just to clarify why they're laughing, it's because I've made it very clear that I never want to see another diary. But at the same,
have to, aren't you?
at the
You
same
have
time,
to.
I did say that Zaya would probably come with diaries. If it was to come with diaries, it wouldn't come with 10 at once. That's damn sure.
You could do like one diary per
How about
area,
one really big diary?
Yes, Zaya will have its own diaries for the many, many different towns and cities it's going to have. That's for sure. Don't expect to see Zaya on launch with 10 new diaries though.
Any ideas on any possible rewards yet, or still concept?
Considering we haven't, well, at this stage where it hasn't even begun development yet, we've got another 2 weeks or a week or so to go with, retroactive fixing with diaries before we actually get onto it. But since we haven't actually got down any rewards, there's no real reason to create diaries and think of concept rewards for them yet, considering the rewards we haven't even come up with ourselves yet. So
that being said,
people have talked about wanting to plum run things like the Grand Exchange. There's no reason why we can't have some sort of jungle gym type thing somewhere in some sort of jungle town underwater area in Zaya, for example.
Oh, jungle agility course. I like that.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't.
Someone write that down.
get a Tarzan outfit as a reward, just a little piece of cloth.
Just a loincloth.
Yeah, nice.
Seriously, someone write that down because we never remember these things.
I'll remember it.
Yeah.
Someone will tweet
I'll
us saying
remember.
I've got a fantastic idea, thankfully.
Okay.
I think Simon's on it.
Next question. Okay, this one's from Fred Brown. So will any of the diaries ever become free-to-play accessible?
I really wanted to make Lumbridge and Draenor free to play, but by the time we realised half the tasks were members, because when we started designing these, free to play wasn't a thing. It was just too late to go back and redesign the entire thing. It would have taken us another month or so to delete what was there and replace it. It wasn't an easy thing to do, which is a shame. But I expect when Zaya comes around, a lot of that will be at least accessible by free to play. Maybe we can look at it
That's
then.
a discussion we need to have, really.
Yeah,
There's no
it's-
reason why we can't do a specific free-to-play diary, maybe.
Well, I think
At some
obviously
point in future.
Lumbridge and Draenor was supposed to be, or was traditionally, the free-to-play diary. If we were to open up another diary on the current map, we'd have to find an area that we haven't already covered, and then make
we
it
just call it a
free-to-play.
free-to-play diary. We just have it so it just works in free-to-play.
Or we
Yeah,
could,
we can have something specific that covers just the
Fine.
free map with
Yeah.
like a few taster tasks in.
Yeah,
Maybe do that as a bit of retroactive.
yeah. I think that will probably work quite nicely.
There is like a beginner's rewards anyway, isn't there? That was brought out later. So could you not have like a beginner's diary, and then you could just have like all items that have got like a white colour code on them instead?
I'd say we could call it like
I think that
the
was
taster
task
diary or
system
something.
Taster
originally.
diary.
Yeah.
I think it was originally the top. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
From Gareth, was 3 days.
Speaking of free-to-play, will any of Zaya be accessible to the free-to-play players?
That's to be discussed.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know we said it last week as well, actually, in quite some depth. It's all well and good wanting to give free-to-play players some content to enjoy, but obviously if we start giving them all the benefits of members, then there's no point in having members. And obviously you wanted free-to-play because you wanted the game to grow and expand, but obviously if free-to-play have access to all the members' content, then we're not going to have a game anyway.
Yeah.
Zaya is still very, very far away. I think that's a conversation that we probably should have at the start
Yeah.
before we start.
And before the end of this
Next
month,
week
we'll have
sometime.
sat down and worked out at least what we're planning to plan with
Yeah.
Zaya.
It's
Planning to plan?
Yeah.
yeah, it's too early to say really.
Okay, next question. This one's from I'm Defons, and he asks, can the Prospector and Lumberjack outfits be binded with the Achievement Diary armors so they don't go to waste? He's concerned that with the Achievement Diary armors, that's going to replace any other outfits that he might have worn.
I would say not really, because you don't actually have to wear the Achievement Diary armors for most benefits. A few of them you do. But the Varrock Elite armor functions as a Prospector top, so it would still work with the rest of the outfit. There's nothing that provides the same woodcutting boost that Lumberjack does, so it's certainly still relevant.
Okay. And then there's Graceful as well.
Yeah, none of it's weight reducing, so again, Graceful's still relevant.
Okay.
If it's just for like they're wearing that because it looks better, then we can look at touching up some of the other items. But I'd say Lumberjack has always looked the same, and it should. Prospector, it's again always looked like that, and
Yeah.
Graceful's got its upgrades a couple of months ago, 6 months ago, something I think.
Not too long ago, you'll know.
Yeah, probably like a year
yeah,
ago.
I think it's one of the last
2.6
things,
a year
did.
ago.
Yeah, it was one of the last things
Yeah.
Alfie did, so it's back in the summer.
All right. Next question. This one's from Martin W312, and he asks, "What's the new Achievement Diaries emote going to look like?"
That's for
Come on,
you.
Ghost.
I haven't
Right.
seen it.
The achievement diary, mate, is basically going to be a diary that you hold out in front of you, and on each of the corners of the diary it will have a green, a red, a blue and a purple gem just to symbolise each of the different difficulty levels and that you've acquired this asset. It floats out and it expands, say roughly the size of this table here, and we see various elements from all the diary tasks that you've completed flying into this vortex and being sucked into the centre of it, gradually getting larger for this big climax when it gets all clogged up and then the book slams
That's going
shut.
to appear on chat, isn't it? I'm sorry.
It could have been a little differently worded.
But yeah, anyway, the book will slam shut, it will reduce back to its normal size gently and then drift back into your hands, and you've acquired all those tasks, and that's your
I look forward to that, actually.
That sounds epic.
That probably explains why you're modelling that duck and those logs.
Yeah.
No, there were secrets. Everyone.
Oh, I've ruined the whole
don't
emote.
spoil
To be fair,
it.
the one that got my attention was the
So-
hot air balloon.
Yeah. There will be, like I say, progressively larger things that go in there. There will be a hot air balloon that clogs things up.
Are we
a bit.
likely to suffer from the same scale issues that we suffered with the cow?
We can. put
No,
some
I've learned my
Legion
lesson.
boards.
It's still a 3x3. It fills one square and everything. You just saw a big tower of assets, didn't you? And you
Yeah.
just thought that's going to cause problems now. I'm just got to rig it up. Then I'll go into the model and just bring all those assets down so they
Okay.
overlap each other. Then in the animation, we'll scale them down so they're invisible, and you won't be able to see them until I sort of like introduce them sort of like stage top and just bring them all
Okay,
in.
fine. If you're confident, I'm confident.
Yeah, it'll
Pretty
be
much.
fine.
I'm
We
also
managed to
quite
get the
interested in
counter
how
at the
you
end.
managed to get all that in 1500 polys.
There's about 10 models all crammed into 1500 polys that still look as detailed as they do when they're full models. Apart from the KVD.
It sounds absolutely epic, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
To be fair, actually, that sets a good precedent for a very good Maxcape emote, should we ever do one.
Yeah, sure.
I expect we'll have one by the end of the year.
All right, there you go. Next question. This one's from Colson, and he asks, are any of the rewards up for change? He's not a fan specifically of the Achievement Diary cape, saying he doesn't like the green used for it.
Yeah, we've got a thread open in the, I think it's in feedback and suggestions. There's a link to it in the news post where we're asking for things like feedback and tweaks, additional rewards and stuff that we can poll. So anything like that, just leave a comment in there and we'll go through it at some point next week.
Okay.
And
I would say that if you decide to change anything like that, all of the outfits are based around a colour language that works within the outfit itself. So if you remove the green, all of a sudden the red becomes less interesting, so there's no sort of contrast against it. Anything other than green won't really go so well with those metals, it won't be as interesting then. So obviously people are going to have their own subjective opinions, but I'd kind of say that we can change the tone and shade, and we'll try and listen, but I'm going to probably, I'll probably like fight back a little bit if I don't really feel it's
Politely
necessary.
disagree.
I'm sorry.
I'd say green is the best color for it, but maybe different shade.
Green, silver, red, it all works
Yeah.
nicely together.
Okay, cool. Next question. This one's from I Have 13GP. He's asking, can you make the Fountain of Rune free to play? We kind of just had this conversation.
At this rate, we're making everything free to play.
Yeah.
But the Fountain of Rune isn't really terribly
Yeah, I
used.
think we need to have a look. I mean, there's a lot of requests coming in for free. I think we need to have a
Yeah.
look at what people are asking for, what people are actually doing as well. So we need some data, and just find out what would help really, and then we'll poll a whole load of things. I would imagine if we make this, that, or the other free to play, and let you guys decide what should be free to play, what's not.
Okay. Last free to play requirement. I'm just going to get this out of the way so I can stop saying these. Someone asking for a 1,000 total requirement world. While we're on that subject, why don't we talk about if we're going to be adding any more free to play worlds, what we're doing with that.
Yeah, if there's a need for them, we made some temporary over the weekend because it's much quicker, easier, and we're in much better control of what goes on there. So we did them over the weekend. We'll just monitor things. If we need some more next week, we'll open a few more and see what happens. But yeah, if we need them, we will. If we don't need them, we won't put any more out there. But let's see what this weekend brings first. We were very close last weekend, weren't we? We had 1,700 on most worlds, I think.
I was going to say.
But we want to make sure there's enough room for people this weekend. And if it increases, then we know we need to start looking long term for adding more worlds. If it decreases, then we'll probably swap a few back, and then always leave World 1, I think, as free to play. I think that's what everyone asked for, wasn't it? So we'll leave that one as World 1, but we'll see what happens. Australian Worlds, which obviously is the next thing they're asking for in the chat. I need to talk to some people next week. They're not here this week. I need to talk to them and get some answers and then find out what we do go from there. So that's that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Next question. This one's from Silent Fox, and he asks, can we get items kept on death based on the Gren exchange value?
same as the bank job. It's something that we will poll at some point. Not an easy job, but it's certainly doable.
All right, there you go. I think that's another thing they'd probably agree with. All right, next question. This one's from Skullpojken, and he asks, can you add some clan chat features such as a calendar and maybe even a daily message that appears upon login? I think he's looking for reminders for clans or teams that set a war date, just to say, hey, you have a war tomorrow at 3 p.m., make sure you're here.
I'd like to get a clan infrastructure in place first before we start
Yeah,
doing things like that.
We can't really add features to the friends chat because it affects both games.
And the friend chat system isn't actually a clan chat. Obviously, RS3 does have their own clan chat channel, and I think we've had a lot of requests to have our own clan chat channel. I think if we were to have a clan chat channel or calendars or system like that, we need to have a proper clan infrastructure, which is something I think we have not burdened Ian with just yet, but it is on the list of things we want.
Yeah, it's just we've got a long list of things we want, but yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I like the clan stuff, but it's a massive job. I was chatting to Maz about the RS3 clan stuff and just seeing this cascade of if statements. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, next question. This one's from Havoc, and he asks, could we see Mod Ronin's stream opening up another 1,000 Barrows chests, but with a 14 kill count this time? I believe, Matt, you did something similar.
With 11 the kill count was, wasn't it?
You did it with 11.
Yes, so...
And that isn't on YouTube. So it would be cool to do something like that again, get that up on YouTube for people to watch back.
No, I think so.
Ronan said he'd love to do that anyway, so there you go.
Should be on the past broadcast though on Twitch, so we could put it up on YouTube if it's there.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we'll compare the results side by side to see what 11 kill count versus 14 kill count
then
got.
we'll do 7 kill count as well, just to make sure we've covered all bases.
All right.
Any more? Maybe we ought to do one for the next sort of
there's-
18 weeks,
I
from
think
1 to 18.
Something really secret happens if you have 8 kill count.
Whoa.
We don't have the past broadcast, but I'm sure Ronan will be happy to do it again.
All right.
Don't we? Okay, there we go.
Okay, next question. This one's from Drew's Life, and he asks, can you add more use to the Soul Rune? It's currently quite useless, and he's complaining that... oh, yeah, and he's also asking, will we ever see new runes added to the game?
New runes, I'd probably not, just because we've got a lot of runes, and like I said, some of them aren't all that useful, like soul runes at the minute. Although the new spells that came out with the Fremnic Diary today uses soul runes. I think Recharge Dragonstone Jewelry.
I've got a good one for soul runes. Right, Lunar spell, make shoes.
Make shoes?
Make
no,
shoes.
for God's sake. That's a hashtag
Hashtag dad joke.
That is. I'm not against the idea.
Wow.
there you go.
That went right
You've only
over
just got
me.
it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Hey.
I was like looking for a more like deep meaning. I'm like, okay, where is this? I'm missing it.
No, I'm not against the idea of new runes. If we were to, it would be a Zaya thing. However, I think we're looking at opening existing, well, not existing, but long-awaited rune crafting temples, such as the Soul Rune or Blood Rune or anything else that hasn't been launched.
Yeah, the River of Souls and the River of Blood that we've talked about before. Be great for some sort of rune crafting thing.
I want a River of Souls.
He's right. Firecape is right. You killed it. We're all laughing at hashtag dad joke, and then 3 hours later, Chris comes in.
3 hours. That was all right. This one's from Jesper, and he asks, in the Grand Exchange, if 2 people are buying the same item for the same price, who gets it first?
Whoever made the offer first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just comes down to whoever had the first offer. Surprisingly, had quite a few questions asking that.
For the most part, the sales work in order of whose offer was there first. The only time that will change is if somebody comes in with a lower offer or a higher offer than yourself, then they'll go to the top. So if you're selling something, or if you're selling something and someone undercuts you, they'll also sell first. If you're selling something and then John puts the same thing in at the exact same price as myself, but 3 hours later, mine will sell first. It's easy.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of undercutting in the Grand Exchange.
Yeah, buy a coin after I've given you the sell price.
You know, you got every man for himself.
All right.
What
Next question. This one's from Kleenex92, and he has a specific question for Mod Ghost. So he says, whilst you had previous designs already in place from 2009 for the Varrock plate bodies, what was it that made you decide on using the black/purple for the Elite set?
I think black armour is always the most badass to look at, to be honest. We all like black armour.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was always going to be black. Even people that said they're not too keen on the sort of the purple and black still agree it should be black. Why purple? So each set of armour's got its own colour language going on. For the gold, green obviously works very well with that. For the silver, red obviously works well against that. And then for the sort of turquoisey colours, a nice sort of like aquamarine blue worked well with that too. So what else do you use? You can't use yellow because that's a bit dull. It doesn't really show up very well in game. Orange, same. So just go for purple, and then you've got something that actually works well and it's got really good, strong colour language. We all like those colours. I think because Torva in RS3 is such a well-liked kit, because the purple and black work so well together, people will naturally draw that comparison.
Well, before it was changed.
Before it was changed, that's right, yeah. So people will draw that comparison, but hey, you know, there's only so many colours in the world. There's only so many different shades and tones of armour or metal that we can use, and that was missing. So, you know, let's put one in, and it's a whole field, I feel.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Looks awesome. Even if it is being compared to Torva, Torva looked awesome.
I like purple.
So, all right, next question. This one's from I Can't Survive.
We all saw that ASCII art before it was removed, and I'm really glad I saw it.
I missed it.
I missed something here.
There was some fantastic ASCII art.
Okay. I'm off track now. This one's from I Can't Survive, and he asks, what do you think about the ability to burn down trees in our farming patch in order to remove them?
That's actually not all that difficult to do. What I think of it, it seems like arbitrary content, but we could certainly do it.
Oh, I've already burned down a tree.
If you're farming a tree, instead of like chopping it
Oh,
down,
yeah,
you
yeah,
could burn
I
it down, get some fire making XP
Oh, okay.
maybe.
Yeah, we could have it. Mind you, yeah, when you chop down a tree, if you don't have the woodcut requirement, you can pay the farmer to do it. We could set a fire making requirement on the tree and have it give you a small amount of fire making XP instead of woodcut. It's certainly doable.
All right, let's see what the chat thinks about that one. I kind of like the idea of just
I seem to like it, don't
helping
they?
fire making in general instead of wood cutting. Just let you use your tinderbox on like a yew tree.
Yeah.
Just burn the whole thing down. Then you get like 20 logs, maybe burnt logs. I don't know.
We could burn for a bit before, so they burn for sort of 30 seconds. You can see how much the forest you can set on fire at once.
I really don't know why I'm not in charge of all of the ideas that we get. Some really good ideas.
I don't know why.
Okay, next question. This one's from Shane4894, and he asks, is there anything we can do to manage the drastically dropping prices of raw materials from the Grand Exchange? His example is iron ores, as they're currently down to just 35 GP each. He's added a suggestion of increasing the high alk value of these items, but nobody's going to high alk an iron ore.
Yeah, there's a lot of items that people would have had in their banks in large quantities that they never got around to selling. Maple logs come to mind, pure essence would be another one, and with the launch of the GE, just dump them in.
Yeah.
We had a discussion before we launched it that we wouldn't just instantly react to a lot of things like this. We'll see how it goes over the course of a few weeks and months. So any other concerns that come through, we'll note them down and revisit them after prices have had a chance to settle.
It is going to take time to settle down. I mean, that's sort of just the nature of the beast. I think for when it first came out, we're talking 6 months later, it was still all over the place. Yeah. Now it should be an awful lot, sort itself out an awful lot quicker because you guys are already used to it, and we didn't have a trade restriction in at the time either, which obviously did when it first came out, so it should settle down an awful lot quicker, but we can't just jump in there on day 10. Are we on day 10? Day 7?
7.
Day 7 and start playing around with
How
numbers.
was it only a week ago that we launched
I know,
the
it
GE?
seems so much longer, doesn't it? We can't jump in on day 7 and start playing around with numbers because it just won't help anything, so let's all let it settle down. Things will be strange prices. If you're able to track prices, you can make a nice bit of money doing a bit of flipping on it, and we'll have to wait until it sorts itself out.
Yeah, I understand some shield left halves were sold for upwards of 6 million coins today.
It was only for a little bit of a little period of time though, because Buddy was talking about it on his stream, saying, "Wow, shield left halves are going to be needed." A lot of people then rushed to the Grand Exchange, sold them immediately for 5-6 mil, and then now apparently they're back down to like 500k.
I had one in the bank, sold it for 6.5 mil.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, yeah, this is a very good point that people are rushing the Grand Exchange because now they can finally sell all that junk. Well, maybe not junk, but resources. Some solid advice might be if you don't want to sell it for that low, just hang on to it.
It's also worth noting that there's no limit on the amount of items you can sell in X amount of time, but there is on how much you can buy.
Yep.
So with supply outdoing demand, they will just take time. But although we do plan on increasing those limits slowly over the course of weeks.
Yep. We just got a question from the chat saying, did Mod Ghost steal Matt's trousers?
There is actually
Nice
only
fitting
one
trousers,
pair
by the way.
of red trousers in the world. I saw someone walk past me the other day wearing also a pair of red trousers and had to assume that time travel had been invented
I wouldn't
because
call
there
those-
is only one pair.
I'd call that burgundy, not red, but that's all right.
I'd say it's maroon.
That's really pedantic of you, Chris. Why try and
Oh,
put
wait,
me on
this
the
has become
spot?
such a theme. You said the other day we need to arrange a stream where everyone has the same colour on.
Yes.
Like it's got to the point now where we all have to dress the same.
Oh, no, trousers.
Trousers.
I had an email from my wife actually earlier today, and it said, I saw these and thought of you, and she linked me to something on eBay, and it's just a pair of multicoloured trousers, so I'll put an order in for them. Just because it has to be done already.
All right.
To be fair, that's how I end up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, my wife's emailing you stuff.
Chris just eager to get away from this.
Like, got an email from my wife. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a story about that.
This
Oh,
one's
it's been
from
so long since I heard that.
BurgleHut69 asks, the Karamja gloves don't suit the new reward kits. Can we get new ones?
We had this discussion.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
We would like to update them. We just weren't sure how well it would go down, so we decided to leave them and see what the feedback was on launch.
Yeah,
and
sure.
it looks like we'll just go ahead and change them.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah.
it?
I've had quite a few requests. We didn't want to just change them because they're existing models and technically it wasn't polled, but yeah, I've had a lot of people asking them to be
Brilliant.
updated.
Okay, that's cool. So, if those do get updated, I suppose I'll just be taking the elite ones and just making it match the armor colour. There was originally some gloves that I showed on my Twitter channel that were kind of like leather bracelets and things like that. But I just think we should just stick with the design that's done for the elite, because that matches the sort of silhouette and everything of the originals, and then just recolour them. Then everyone's kind of a bit more happy instead of like their item just being completely transformed into something different. That'd be good. Okay, cool.
All right. I feel like I'm missing something here.
Oh no, I was just smiling at Matt.
Yeah, the chat was just being suggestive, I think.
Yeah, that would have been.
To be
better
fair,
than
you know what the funniest thing is? I mean, they're saying all this stuff. My wife's actually watching, so.
Hi.
All right. Next question. This one.
My children aren't.
that. No, I would not.
Probably a
No.
good thing.
Carry on.
Carry on, yeah.
Crazy old M. I'm going to say that stands for
That was a
man.
good
Any immediate plans to add more free play worlds? We already talked about that.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. This one's from Shane again, asking, can we have the ability to sell party hat sets and mask sets in the Grand Exchange?
Yeah, I created a in-house job thing to track that job. I wanted to get it done for launch, but we just ran out of time. Obviously, didn't have time this week with Diaries. They will come at some point.
It'd be really cool to see
Oh,
all the...
why did you tell them?
That's funny, isn't it?
Work me off, Kay.
So you'll have the ability to sell all of the party hats in one little box set.
Yeah, there's a couple of other sets I wanted to do as well. The God page sets for like examiner
that's a good
page
idea.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was one more as well. I just can't remember. Yeah, party hat, Halloween, God pages. Yeah, there's something else.
All
Words
right.
and stuff.
I don't even bother looking that way anymore. It's not worth it.
We lost the chat for the entire time.
Since we're here, let's move into our fun question, because I feel like we need to do one of these once a week. So if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy? Matt,
Jagex.
Jagex.
that's a big lottery.
That's a good answer, isn't it?
I've actually considered this many times. I'm already set.
Do you buy lottery tickets?
I do buy lottery tickets. Yeah.
Really? I don't.
I actually won the lottery on Saturday and bought a Ferrari.
I ordered it for him.
I wouldn't do any investments straight away. I would just bank my money and do what I want with the interest. I think that's the best thing to do. Don't spend your capital. just
Captain
spend the
Boring.
interest. Yeah. It's
Pretty much. I'm sorry. I have to agree with it.
Oh
you know
no.
what I would do? I would pay Gareth to spend his money on useless shit.
I like the way James has put in the chat exactly what I do with my money immediately. I would immediately go straight to Lamborghini and get them to build me a custom Aventador.
I would go for the Lexus LFA.
I would spend all of it on, actually no, I'd spend half of it on a load of things that I probably can't mention on stream, and then I'd waste the rest.
Waste the rest.
Yeah.
And part of me, the sensible part of me, the Gareth part of me, would do a little bit of investing, but
I already invest in it, just
Aventador
tanks.
Flip on the stock exchange.
Yeah.
You just shove it in an account.
I'd
and then
walk
they'll
into
give you
it,
interest.
put it all on
Just
corn.
spend that.
You've seen my investments.
That was
I'm the idiot that
corn,
put a load of money into
by the way,
oil the day before it went down 50% because Russia invaded Ukraine.
All right.
That's what
all
I do.
We have RuneScape questions. So
Yeah.
this one's actually from Burgundy Pants.
Really?
And he
It
asks,
really was.
And he asks, where'd you come up with the design for the Wilderness Sword? Another question from Ghost.
The Wilderness Swords. That name sounds made up, doesn't it?
It's almost like you knew you had burgundy pants
I
on.
know. The Wilderness Sword was basically there's an old Aztec weapon. I forget the name of it. Mauretania knows about it.
Oh,
But it's
like the toothy sword thing.
yeah, it's just basically like this hideous-looking long piece of wood with these jaggedy teeth that stick out, and they kind of like just swing it into you and rip it through, and it just seemed really, really visceral and different from anything we've got in game. And I liked it because when you looked at that sword, it actually seemed ornamental, and I figured because this isn't really a high-powered sword, it's more sort of like an ornamental trophy that you get for completing tasks. That's really an ideal look that we'd go for that kind of sword.
The chat is really, really excited today. Literally everything is something worth laughing at.
It's the achievement Diary had. It's got to be.
Those two over there just can't get enough of it. James is nearly crying.
All right.
Good thing we didn't go with the love stick sword for Valentine's Day then.
Oh, that was that's a bad idea.
Serious? Was that going to be the name?
The love sword.
Right. Okay.
I don't remember this.
That might have been a different game. Now that I think about it, it's been a long month.
All right. Next question from No Long Ting, and he asks, when will we get Dangerous Clan Wars?
don't think
Never.
we'll ever get it, will
Sounds
we?
like
Really?
we've already said we're going to bring it.
So the vast majority of it, when it came out, was used for luring. So we
Yeah, it
don't
was.
really want to go down that route. And if we've got dangerous clan wars outside the wilderness, people from the wilderness will then go into there. You get half the people in clan wars, you get half the people at Edgeville, and then Edgeville's not anywhere near as exciting as it once was.
Yep.
So probably never, quite frankly.
People have warped ideas about what they want to do with my swords, I think. Don't do that with that sword. I promise you, it won't end
They're
well.
very excitable today, aren't they?
All right. Now, I just saw a comment. Chris is a big noob.
Agreed.
Well, they're on the ball there, aren't they? All right.
This one's from Sparkmac, and he asks, bounty hunter / PvP timer to continue attacking when someone enters a safe zone, like how it used to be.
Did we not poll that?
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Had a lot of requests for it recently, actually.
So basically just continuing the ability to allow yourself to attack somebody when they step out of the safe zone for, 10 seconds,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I'm pretty sure we offered that in the Bounty Hunter reactive poll.
I
Don't
don't
remember it.
remember.
I remember having a conversation
We
about
might
maybe
have done.
polling
If we
it.
haven't,
Yeah.
it's something we probably should look to poll, because I'm getting a lot more requests a lot more frequently for things like that.
It came with a couple complications, that being if somebody teleported away while they were poisoned or a barrage was about to hit them, but they tellied, they would then land in Varrock, say, and then the barrage would hit them and they would die. Whereas right now, that barrage just disappears.
Oh no, we're not removing the clear damage cues from teleports. That's
Yeah.
a whole
So
lot
they'd
of
be
note
completely
there.
different, separate things.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think we should look at it. I think you're right.
I would like to. It's come up an awful lot more since we got the Grand Exchange, because everyone loves PKing and PvP worlds around the Grand Exchange.
Yeah.
Right.
But if that's revived PvP world slightly, then I think I'm more than happy to cater to that request.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Next question. This one's from Stillgod, and he asks, will we ever get an in-game clock?
I would like one.
So would I, actually.
I'd also
that
like a
makes it 3
timestamp on the
hours.
chat, although I'm struggling to find someone to do it for me.
Tap time. Find somebody, stick it in, send me an email and I'll stick it into the requests and stuff we've got sitting there waiting for people to
I'll
do.
stick it on my to-do list. I might have some time in June.
I'd like to see this in a straw poll if possible. If we could get a straw poll for, would you guys like to see an in-game clock? So this is something that RS3
With
currently
obligatory
has.
toggle.
With a toggle.
a
You don't,
toggle,
you don't
yeah.
have to see the time if you don't want to. So it'd be one specific time for everybody. So if you said, we have a war tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it might not be 3 o'clock for your time, but it will be 3
Yeah,
o'clock.
it'll be a UTC clock.
on
It
that,
won't run
yeah.
off local time.
Yeah, it's cool.
So go ahead and vote in that straw poll soon to come, guys. Let's go to the next question. This one's from Chris, and he asks, since the disconnections have subsided, at least it seems, could we see PK Worlds reverted back to the UK servers again?
We could, if the disconnections have discontinued. I need to have a look at what's actually happening. Lots of stuff's been happening recently with the network. One of the reasons why the servers seem an awful lot more stable is because we've moved some of the stuff to different places, so not everyone's getting affected by what's going on. But I do need to look at that before we can actually decide that, because what these guys are experiencing and what's actually happening aren't always the same thing.
Right.
I need to have a chat with Barry about that.
Okay. Cool. Next question. This one's from Geert Keltgens. He asks, could we have all family Crest Gauntlets as a reward from the achievement diaries, maybe for an extra price?
Probably.
So as you can currently only get one, he's asking to have all of them at one time.
I can't remember what all the surrounding checks are around those things. It can probably be done.
Yeah, well, it can definitely be done.
We just add it as an extra thing for the quest, so you get one of each rather than tie it into something extra.
Okay.
Maybe just change the quest reward.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the file. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Someone write that down.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what it was using.
All right. We just got the straw poll results from the question asking if you guys would like an in-game clock with a toggle, and that's sitting at 85%, a lot higher than I thought it'd be. Cool.
There's no real disadvantage to it, thankfully.
So if we were to pull that, it's looking like that would pass.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Next question. This one's from Torwin, and he asks, can we see the Onyx ring imbued, even if a little bit nerfed?
Given that we've added the tyrannical treasonous rings that do kind of the same bonuses that the Onyx ring I kind of offered, which was the stab more than the crush, but yeah,
Right.
probably not. But I would like to stick something on the Onyx ring to make it a bit more useful.
One of the one suggestion I saw come in was when you use the Onyx ring to turn to stone, it takes your dot off the menu.
I was
we
just
talked
about to
about
say
this.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
which
I
I quite like.
think
Such a cool
Ian said
idea.
it could be done.
Yeah, so I quite like that.
We need to pursue that. I really want to see that happen.
Which just means that you control in a popular and unpopulated area and still
Well,
still not really attract much attention.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
PvP
risking
would
that.
be incredibly useful, wouldn't it? Because obviously you
Hiding.
can just stand there and wait until somebody runs past and whoop.
But you're risking a 3 mil ring.
Yeah, exactly. Which is,
As
you
opposed to
know,
your, what, like 1 mil, 2
imagine a
mil
whole
berserker ring or
just
something?
imagine, you know, a whole
3 mil
group of 20 people just walk along and just see all these.
It would
Brilliant.
be the best troll.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
When
So
it
not
runs for
looking.
pods.
All right, next question. This one's from Torwin again. Can Ultimate Iron Man have the ability to use Protect Item? Some people might say, Ultimate Iron Man, you made your decision. You don't get to protect anything when you die. Others might say, well,
What was the reason for
Kinda
not
sucks
letting them use
losing
it?
everything.
Because when you're out, the point of being an Ultimate Iron Man is that when you die, you lose everything.
yeah. Do you think they should maybe be allowed to protect just one thing or keep it the way
We're
it
slightly
is?
going back on our word when we say that.
Given that
It's the
we're
ultimate
so
challenge.
far from launch now, and so many Ultimate Iron Men
Yeah.
have got this far without that, I would be very hesitant of
Yeah,
changing.
absolutely.
It's also part of the ultimate challenge. If we were to say it's the ultimate challenge just a little bit, it's not really the same.
Fair enough. I'm
Not,
seeing
not
a lot
quite
of...
the ultimate challenge.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Almost the
be
ultimate challenge.
very fair on the existing high scores
Yeah.
as well. So.
No.
That's
Absolutely.
true. That's a good point. Okay, next question. Again from Torwin. Can the destroy option on the looting bag drop all items inside of it instead of deleting everything permanently?
Dan,
Yeah,
there's different inventory.
it's an inventory. It can be moved to the floor. I don't. Why does it delete it again?
If you destroy it, it says it destroys all the things inside. It's just the way it works.
Oh, well, it can be made to move everything to the floor.
Mind you, there's nothing stopping you from just going right-click empty.
It's true. It can be made to put everything onto the floor. That is possible.
Okay, probably not the most prioritized update, but it's
I think
possible.
so.
Wait,
Alright.
no, because then you can just drop 28 extra items anywhere
Yeah.
and pick them up. That would make your God Wars trips a lot easier, etc. So,
Yeah.
no, that's why.
There you go.
Alrighty then.
If there was a reason, then there you
John
go.
C has spoken. This one's from Coffin. He asks, is it possible to see our history of loots from old clue scrolls?
Lutes, no.
No.
Yeah, he's kind of, I think he's saying like, I got third age one time. I don't
Yeah.
have a screenshot.
Yeah.
I'd show you if I could.
Yeah, we just don't track that information, so there's no way to know what anyone's got.
If we were to all of a sudden start doing it, it would work from the moment we actually implemented it. You wouldn't go back, 30 cross cells earlier to show you what you got.
Okay. All right, next question. This one's from Mr. O, and he asks, can an achievement diary reward increase the size of the looting bag?
Increasing inventory sizes isn't always straightforward. In theory, it could. Whether we'd actually get around to it is
Yeah.
another thing. You have to look at the
Balancing
balancing.
issues as well, yeah, which is probably the biggest worry.
Yeah, that's again one of those things that I could only see really Ultimate Iron Man voting yes for. All right, next question. This one's from Drazor. So apparently horses used to be a high suggested topic. What's the old school's team on thoughts on horses?
What was the reason that Jagex or anybody for RuneScape has always said no to horses?
The reason for no to horses is it's about having characters on top of multiple levels. So if you've got a horse character, you've got you sit on top of the horse, who then takes you above level 1. So your head disappears, and then you look at it from upstairs, and you just see the head moving along and nothing else. There's issues with across levels, so floor level to first floor.
We
sort
could
of
still
thing.
have horse
But we have,
NPCs.
we have really tall NPCs,
Yeah,
so I don't
was
think
just
that's the
gonna
case.
say,
That's last time I was.
I think the other issue is when you get a floor tile, you can only have a player occupying one floor tile. So if you had a horse, it'd obviously lengthen it.
That's
out.
assuming we're mountain horses. Are we talking about horses in general? We're
Yeah,
talking
we-
about
we-
sitting on a
I
horse.
would imagine
was-
riding.
I was
guess.
thinking mounted.
We can't do the riding stuff for
Yeah,
those
that's the
reasons,
issue
but
with
we can always add horses, like you can kill them, get horse meat, and become a supermarket.
You could even turn them into burgers, and you could have a horse mac.
Could you ride?
Wow.
James is stunned by that. James is really stunned.
How long have you been saving onto that one?
He's actually got his phone out.
All right.
Oh dear. So yeah.
Well, that's the chat gone.
That was really quick of you.
Okay. I was on that.
Well,
I mean,
that's-
things like bicycles and which obviously we wouldn't have, but things like bicycles, skateboards are completely doable because your character's not going up so high. But
Okay, we still have
Yeah, he
questions.
just wants to move on.
Yeah.
He's just like, no,
I
no.
could get
screw
a
you.
couple of tortoises, strap them to your feet, and then skate along on tortoises.
Now we're just getting a little silly.
Now we're getting
Now this is just
the
a
previous
little bit
discussion
over
was
the edge.
perfectly fine.
All right. Let's go to this one. So how do the ecumenical keys drop rate work with the new achievement diary rewards, if I can speak?
I believe we kept it flat from 3, 4, and 5.
So you can now get a total of 5?
You can have 5, was it from hard wilderness rewards? And yeah, because the drop rate increases if you have 1 in your bank, and then it increases again if you have 2, I think 50, 60, and 70. And I would assume we kept it at 70.
Yes.
I remember diffing the file. I remember being happy with what I saw, but I don't remember what I saw.
I haven't adjusted the chance values of that at all. I've only obviously increased the amount of keys that you can have, so hopefully the file would have just respected the amount of keys that I allowed it to have.
Okay. There's your answer. Next question. Got a bunch of questions from this guy, the Gimo, so thanks, the Gimo. He asks, what's your opinion on spicy stew shakers being tradable?
None.
Quest item, no.
They are a pain to obtain.
That's why.
I agree, but I agree with John, it's a quest item.
Okay.
Otherwise,
that's the opinion. There you go.
Also, you can use them in order to make stews.
Oh, these are different coloured ones you have to get for Evil Day.
Yeah.
Oh right. Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
I mean, they also you can
give
still
you
use them to
different
vicious
bonuses.
stats anyway.
It didn't take long when I did it. I mean, it was what?
Depends
Hour
if you have
maybe?
it depends if you have a cat or a kitten, or if you're just incredibly unlucky.
The quest is centralised around that taking you time, so changing that is just nope.
All right. It should probably be noted that we'll likely be looking to the chat for some questions, because I just realized we don't have Mod Ash with us today, so we don't have quite as many epic stories and better explanations.
Better explanation.
Better explanations.
I blame the host.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to go back to Matt's comment.
So we'll be looking to the chat.
Is there any more comments from SparkMac on
there?
there?
Comments. Nope.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Send more.
Okay.
I changed my spark plugs once
Yeah,
in my car.
Was it in your
We
Mustang?
do still have
was-
some questions.
It's in my Mustang, and no, and carry on.
He's got a better community channel.
So this one says, can we have the ability to charge black masks?
Sorry, I'm laughing at him laughing.
To answer the question, yes, you can. Although 1, the charges are useless. 2, you
They
can't.
are.
Actually, yeah, you can trade them between the stages, but you can't create a Slayer helm. Yeah, but why? Is my answer.
Why not? that's
The
my
retorts,
argument.
Yes.
What would you charge them with, first of all?
No, you could use them on the plinth at Moss Harmless
Okay.
Island or something. That's
Okay.
the first thing that pops into my head.
I'll try and find something on Monster Farmers that was
But
quite
those
useless.
charges are completely useless. So
They are. They don't do anything.
They just drop the defense of your...
yeah, I think it's a
Monsters
1
that
in
you
128 chance of when you attack an NPC that it takes its defense down by 10% or
So
something.
it really is quite useless.
Yeah, it's
Interesting. I always thought there was something more.
the pet
That was
rock has
sad.
more uses than those charges. It's ridiculous.
Should we make those charges more useful?
Um,
If they're useless, it
I
doesn't.
can sense
I
the
think
enthusiasm.
I think the Slayer helmet has a lot more use than anything we could give the than the normal black masks. I think it's no. I mean,
You don't buy a
what
black
real
mask
reason
to
is
use the
there?
charges. It's got enough
Yeah.
uses already. So.
Fair enough.
Well, since we're going with the banter, I think this question is coming in for Mod Reach, and it's saying Dragon Claws.
Someone just pasted the link to that video.
Fantastically, Chris actually made a video on the YouTube channel, on the
Oh,
Old School
come on.
YouTube channel. about
Surely
deep
we
claws,
can get
so
another
we can go
explanation.
there if you want to see the answer for that. Thank you, Chris, for
all
pointing that one out.
And if you want to be a player mod, send Mod Reach an application.
We've already done that one.
Let's move on. Okay. We've already talked about this, but can gilded... Can't even think now. Armor and scimitars be made available for free to play? That's going to be a nope.
Did we answer?
Gilded.
Is that?
Yeah. See, it would be
Again.
really cool for free to play high risk speaking to have full gilded versus full gilded.
If you've got a high risk peak, just take a stack of cash. It's like,
What's that straw poll?
Black mask charges.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay,
right,
so
okay.
that's fine.
There's your answer, I guess. So how did... Okay, this is from Duty Poopy, and he asks, how did community feedback affect the reward designs? This is one from Mod Ghost.
There wasn't too much that was changed by the community. Everything I submitted, because with like the Varrock armors, we tried to, I tried to keep them as similar as possible to the originals with just a bit of polish over them, so it's pretty much well received by people that want something new and people that like the old stuff too. Actually carrying that sort of style all the way through the armor kits was also liked, because it was just kind of giving people like more of what they already said they liked. So it wasn't too, there wasn't too much, but just small things I suppose, like on the Elite helm, I gave people the option of an open helm or a closed helm, and everyone loves closed helm. They're just obsessed. I always worry that I'm going to give people like the same old stuff and they're going to get bored, but people just absolutely love that sort of Shogun armor style design. Some people we're wondering as well what that was, the markings on the front of the mask. And originally we started off with this sort of an 18th century explorer style, like an 18th century explorer on safari was going to be the kit. So I sort of like integrated a moustache style into it, just as a little Easter egg. It's sort of shaped like one of the old hunting hats and everything like that. So it doesn't seem like something that's combat again. It's more something that's based around a trophy style thing. So it's lots of elements combined in. Anything else that was changed? Some people didn't like the gnome child meme. Not everyone likes memes. I appreciated that. So for the elite one, I decided to give them the symbol off the gates of Prifidinus.
Yep.
However you say it, I think I got it right at the time.
Yeah.
I think it is Plifdinus.
Okay, cool.
Like that.
Right, so I gave them that, and that kind of like seems like a bit more of a high fantasy thing, really, as opposed to just endless memes. So yeah, that was given to
Endless,
them.
yeah,
then.
just one. That's harmless.
No, because you've got like the king from Apatow, haven't you? And you've got Chompy Bird's not really a meme, is it?
It's not a
No.
meme.
It's not a meme.
No.
No.
They're just NPCs.
Yeah, they're relevant to the area.
Same with the
though.
gnome child.
So
It's just an NPC.
it's a meme. Come on,
It's the
Chris.
best
admit it's
Gnome
a
Child's a
meme.
way in
I wish we
life.
had more time to plug in a lot more like custom dialogue into all the taskmasters and stuff, because we
Yeah.
could have had some fun there.
Yeah.
We based most of them on real people.
Gnome Child does have some more custom dialogue.
I might have deleted it.
Oh. Well, he had some spiritual sayings or philosophical
Stuff.
things that he was well known for.
Okay, we got the results back from the straw poll asking if you'd like to see black masks become more useful, and that's definitely a nope.
Yeah. People just don't really care by the look of it, doesn't they?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still
Fair
over
enough.
1,000 votes.
I
though,
haven't seen
so
anybody wear a black mask for a long time.
if you don't have the defense level, I guess.
I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, I want to reduce some NPCs' monsters' defense by 10% at a random time. I'm going to go buy a black mask."
All right. Next question. This one's again from the Gimo, and he asks, "Have we gotten closer to the time when we can consider adding prey renewals?"
I can't think of any immediate balancing issues with prayer renewals. So sure, but we've done a fair bit of herb lore content over the last year.
That's
That's
exactly
true.
what I was just
So I
thinking just
wouldn't
then.
mind holding off a little bit, because it's not like we're in desperate need.
Yeah, Herblore has had a lot of updates over the past year.
In the second half of this year, I'd like to focus on some skill improvements as well.
Some skill capes too, I think.
Yes, skill cape
Seeing-
improvement.
And here
Yeah.
come the
One of you
no's.
knows for perennials.
See, sometimes I ask these questions even knowing that that's going to happen, but still, it's nice to address these topics.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And last one. Oh, no, he's got two more, actually. The Gimo, he asks, uncharging the blowpipe still gives you the message, are you sure you want to destroy this item? Could it instead say, are you sure you want to uncharge this item?
If someone sends me a bug report, then yeah,
Okay.
to remind me. There's a thread in Old School General. I've not heard that one yet.
All right. There you go. Next question. With the Bone Crusher in-game, could the Ecto tokens used to charge it become tradable?
Again, quest item.
Yeah, you use them to get into the city. You also use them as a currency, only in like one place actually. It's
Yeah,
like-
travel to Dragontooth
yeah.
Islands.
Mm,
I'd have less concerns with that one, but I'm still apprehensive.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm not so much in favour of
It's
making
not
them
like getting
tradable.
hold of Ecto tokens is difficult.
Yeah.
And you could create a market for those quite easily.
It almost become a currency.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. This one's from Cajun Gumball, and he asks, why is there a bat on the Mauretania legs? Why is there a bat on the Mauretania legs?
The coat of arms for Mauretania is bat, which is actually more or less exactly the same sort of silhouette as that. So I wanted to include it on it just so people feel that's Mauretania.
Okay.
Couldn't do that with everything, obviously, but it just seemed to fit. That was another bit of player feedback actually. On the hard version, they didn't feel the bat stood out very much, so it's actually got a dark green outline now as well.
All right.
So that's my way around that.
So it wasn't that you wanted to make a Batman tool belt?
I secretly did, and then I just saw that and thought, yes, result! Batman comes in.
All you had to say was because Batman.
Because Batman. There we go, I said that for you. That's for you, John.
Thank you.
Cool. Next question. This one's from S.J. Buckley, and he asks, so when you're chopping a tree, how does the game determine how many logs you get before it disappears?
I believe it's just a random chance
is.
every time you receive a log, which is around
So you
-6.
It's not very high. So basically, woodcutting works. You have a high chance and a low chance of getting a log. When the numbers match, you get a log. At the same time you get a log, you roll a random number between 0 and maybe 4. I'm going to say 4 because it's just an arbitrary number that came to mind. And if you hit the right number, the tree collapses into a little stump, and then a timer is then started to then bring it back up when it's necessary. That's exactly how it works. If you don't roll that number, obviously you carry on woodcutting the tree. Easy as.
Okay.
It's not specific to how many logs you cut. You could have it after 1, it could have it after 50.
Random question, this would be better for a Mythbusters series, which we'll probably be doing another one of those. So if you guys have any myths in mind that you'd like to be busted, by all means, send them my way, preferably through Twitter if you can. But having more people chop a tree at once, does that make it disappear quicker?
In theory, yeah, because there's more chance that it will fall because there's more people taking logs.
It's not running on the tree, it's running on the player.
So if you're wood cutting in an area and there's like 6 open trees but 3 guys on the same tree, it's better that you spread out.
Yes.
It's nothing more annoying than someone coming and chopping your tree.
I know, I was just going to
I
say
hate
that.
that so much.
Cool. All right.
Get wood elsewhere.
It's out of the way.
Giggity.
This one's from Arts. What? Any updates on the rooftop agility in the Grand Exchange? And is that actually a serious idea? Are we
I
actually
think it's something we'll
I
probably.
was actually discussing it with Ian while you were doing last week's stream. We certainly could do something there. It probably wouldn't be an incredibly serious course, but at the very least, maybe like just a stair up with maybe another everlasting fire up there or something.
Yeah, we'll certainly do something up there. I think.
Because the GE, while does have a second level, there's a long distance between anything for you to jump from. So
an actual jump, you can have all sorts of things, couldn't you? You could have
your pole vaults and there's ways around it.
Vaults and what have you. I think something that Ian would quite like to do. So I think something.
We'll also have to work out if it's going to be a legitimate agility course, where we're going to put it in terms of level, because we've got a lot of agility courses.
Right.
We also have one in Varrock already.
Yes, indeed. But maybe we could do it as a Varrock extension one.
Or just have 2 Varrock ones, you use one or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe you get access for doing the Elite Varrock Diary. Yeah.
There we
And
go.
then maybe you do like an eagle dive like Assassin's Creed style.
Even audio.
Speaking of which, sorry, it just popped into my head and I can't remember if you had a question of it or not. We will poll at some point the ability to move your Varrock teleport to the Grand Exchange as part of a diary reward.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that.
A lot of people asking for that.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to hear that.
I think the GE agility course should be more like a gauntlet, to be honest. So it's just like a ring, so if we do too many levels, it's just going to look really strange, so sort of gauntlet to go through.
You know what would be cool?
Yeah.
Is if that was like a PvP area or even like a challenge area where you could fight people. Like, fight me on top of the Grand Exchange, noob.
We had that when PvP Worlds came out, and we had the rooftop agility courses already. People were calling it parkour PKing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a massive snowball fight on top of Varrock agility course.
That's quite cool.
Because they came out a week before Christmas, I think?
Yeah, so I did one of the Christmas events up there because we did the whole load of PKing over Christmas and.
Yeah, on our career, that was fun.
Yeah, and you just stand up top and there's people just trying to get to each other. It's fantastic to watch.
That was like a year and a half ago.
All right.
It was.
1v1 Rust, yeah.
I could remake Rust on top of the Grand Exchange.
I wouldn't mind remaking Rust somewhere.
It would not fit at all, but all right. Next question. This one's from Matt, and he asks, will we ever see new obsidian items such as armors and bows? I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Arrows rather than bows, wouldn't you?
It all boils down to balancing levels and gaps when it comes to new armor and
obsidian
stuff.
is a really cool metal. I think it'd be quite nice to have some
Obsidian's not
extension to it.
metal.
Like whatever they
It's
call it.
It's like it's crystal.
Is it crystal?
Crystal?
Yeah, obsidian's
Oh,
crystal.
yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
I
see
don't know why I did
arrows.
metal.
Right? You're saying, yeah, it is, like you already knew that.
No, it clicked.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can see arrows working.
Yeah, arrows work quite nicely. It's what's used on surgical scalpels. It's what
Really?
they do. So
I didn't know it was a real thing.
It's super really sharp. So hence why.
I knew Minecraft
Hence.
took it from us.
But yeah, so that's why armor probably wouldn't work too
We
well
totally
because you
could.
can
No,
actually
obsidian
cut
is a real
yourself all
thing.
over the place.
Yeah, no, I thought that we created this one.
Yeah.
Saying. But as far as armor goes,
You have obsidian claws, that would work quite nicely.
Obsidian claws would, yeah.
Yeah, obsidian claws would be better than dragon claws.
It'd have a special attack as
you're
well.
really sharp.
Attack speed 10.
And,
10.
They're really heavy, they're made of obsidian.
Maybe each claw is an obsidian maul. In it. All right.
That's just too
Again,
far
this
for
is
us.
this
That's
is
too
why
far.
I'm not a dev. So Smork Boe asks, can you add a bonus effect for the achievement diary set? So he's asking for a special effect should you manage to obtain the entire set.
There's nothing stopping us doing them, but there's already a hell of a lot of benefits that come with achievement diaries. If anyone's got any suggestions, feel free to ping them over and stick them on that suggestion thread, but I'm not going to actively seek anything to put on there.
Okay, there you go. Moving on to the chat questions now. So this one asks, does the upgraded Void from the achievement diary look different from normal Void?
At the minute it does, it's just with the white recolored gold, but as of next week it will look like whatever.
Yeah, it will
What
look
Ghost
like.
does to it.
When was it brought in? Was it
2009, 2010?
Yeah.
At the moment, you have a placeholder as model, as John just said. Obviously, with all the main assets that were going out, it was quite hard to then cram that in there as well.
Yeah.
So we've dug out the very first Elite Void armor set, that one that was given to you sometime around 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in that period, somewhere. I think it was actually around like 2008 or 9. And we decided we'll give you that as your Elite Void because that looked quite nice. And
I think it's the most old school of them, really, isn't it? We can't really just dig out the RS3 one and say, oh, there's your
yeah,
Elite
so
Void.
Void's actually gone through quite a lot of reworks. I think RS3 have reworked theirs sometime around 2011. I don't think very many people liked that one, so we haven't dug out that one, but we dug out the one before that because that was the one that Karasi wore. And that's the armor set people were most familiar with when we talk about Elite Void.
Right.
I don't really want to say this, but it's on the screen, so one of them over there wants me to say it. It might be white and gold, or it might actually be blue or black. It depends on your eyesight.
That's why I was distracted.
I feel like that's
why
so
I was
cool.
distracted looking that way. I was looking that way thinking, really?
Who wrote
Kill
that?
the
Come
times.
Which one of you was it?
Which one of you needs to come here? Simon needs to come here and apologise, I think, to everybody.
I agree.
Should we
pull
James
that?
then?
I wrote it, he said.
Can we pull that?
Okay, so both Simon and James.
I'm very
Formal
sorry.
apology.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a real question from SBJFYT, and he asks, did the old school team get bigger with the release of free-to-play?
We have, we're actively looking for another QA person. In fact, we've also got interviews next week, in fact, haven't we, for a new QA intern, which will be helping over the summer.
You must build a QA trial, remind me.
We will.
Yes. So yes, we're actively recruiting a new QA person. So if you want to do that, please head over to jagex.com and apply there. I've had a chat with Mod Pips about future planning for new members of staff for Old School. If there is a need and for what we need, that sounds really stupid. If there is a need for Old School to have extra resource, then there's nothing standing in the way, but we need to make sure that there is real value in having a person there. So we just need to be careful about what we're doing and making sure we're not just putting in 5 people for the sake of putting in 5 people. So if there is a need, which will be obviously an internal decision, we will get the people. If there's not a need, we won't. But
We
yeah,
manage
things
between us.
things are doing really well. I think the other QA person is really important. I think because the amount of work that John's put in over there. I mean, he hasn't slept in
I've got
almost a year.
12 hours sleep since Sunday.
Yeah. So I mean, these two in particular, and Ash and you as well. They've put in so much work over the last few days to bring you achievement diaries today that it's.
And Ronan as well, who actually wasn't here, even after his stream last
Basically
night, came back
everyone
upstairs to
was
help
there
us.
Yes, yeah. So it's been.
Go
it's been-
away.
And even Ian, with the launch of the GE, he was up to like midnight remapping it because he noticed it was 3 tiles to the west of where it originally was, so he remapped the entire thing.
Can we get some clarification just so that everybody doesn't apply for that QA position? What might you be looking for as far as requirements go?
Live in the UK would be a good
Well,
start.
it's Europe rather than the UK.
Oh, Europe, sorry.
Yeah, it's got to be Europe because we're part of Europe. Unfortunately, Australians, Americans, we can't bring you in. There are lots of sort of complicated employment laws we have to abide by, so we have to take people from Europe. But if you're in Europe, do apply. All the requirements are up there, but effectively, you must know Old School. If you're watching and you don't know Old School, then meh. But you must know Old School. That's probably the most important thing. And make sure on your CV you say you know Old School, because we get so many CVs come in, given a nice sort of people have worked here, they've done that, they've done the other. They don't mention RuneScape at all, and it's like, well, that's the most important part. So
I think when I applied for my job, the opening line on the cover letter was, I'm rank 4.
yeah, so it always helps. So yeah, do apply. We got John, so anybody can get in. I'm joking.
We're going to fall out.
Well, they're going to love that.
Some roasts going on this.
So do apply. But like I said, if we do need people, we will get people. We'll take it from there.
Before we get off topic, though we're off topic now, but the Achievement Diaries, we did have a pretty kick-ass BTS video on the Achievement Diaries, which featured these 3.
Yep.
If you guys didn't see that, be sure to check that out, including the bloopers video. Really like making that video.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly blitz through the 3 questions on the screen. Why are Ancient, Bandos and Armadyl rune armor sets pay to play? It's because those 3 gods are not mentioned at all in free to play. That's the only real reason, really. Do you guys have any possible new weapons armor ideas for Zaya? You've got a couple, but like with every other Zaya question, it's not really hit concept yet. And can we see dragon javelins? Yes, you could, but they'd be just as useless as the rest of the javelins, so really, what's the point?
As it scrolls down.
Any plans running loot share soon? I know Ash would like to at least offer it, but like with all the other big jobs, we've just got to wait until we've got some time in the schedule to actually get it done. This is a serious question. Can we poll resetting combat requirements for Slayer Masters? Anyone under 85 currently can't access Krakens or Smoke Devils.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
We're looking
request.
at doing
Big Slayer update.
big Slayer update in next quarter.
Probably
So,
before the summer. And we want to completely refactor those Slayer assignment tables.
yeah, absolutely. So that will happen there, along with Wave Attack Slayer, which I'm looking forward to, where you stand there and get attacked by hundreds and hundreds of Slayer monsters till you die.
I think there's a similar feature in Elf City. I'd like to look at how
That's
that's
what I was
done.
thinking.
That'd be quite cool.
Speaking of the Kraken, though, we were speaking about the possibility of adding an instanced Kraken.
Yes.
Is that right? So, Mod Ronan actually tweeted asking what you think a fair price would be, if there would be a price, for that instanced Kraken. So be sure to tweet at Mod Ronan. You can also tweet, Google it to Mod Ronan. That will also apply.
And your
Everybody-
PMOD applications.
And your PMOD applications.
Everybody should tweet Google it.
You've already seen it work so far.
And if you could also tweet thanks to Jagex Reach, Jagex_Ghost, Jagex Ash, and Jagex Ronan for all of their splendid work this week.
And him.
No, that's fine. It was only 6 a.m.
Anything else you guys want to add? before we end?
I want to go to bed.
Carry on sending Ronan your very creative Snapchats.
We do have a Snapchat. I
Yeah.
don't know it off the top of my head.
No.
I'd imagine it's
like, isn't it
linked
just
somewhere on
OS?
Old School RS.
It's like OS RuneScape or something, I think.
Oh, also, before I forget, more thanks. Jagex James, Mod James helped us test Diaries yesterday as well. And last week, I can't remember if I mentioned it in the news post, Mod James H piped in with some GE testing help as well. So, shameless plugging of thanking people.
Absolutely.
Okay. There you go, guys. So be sure to give the stream a follow if you enjoyed. And aside from that, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next Thursday.
Okay, bye-bye.